Okay. Hi everybody. I will share my screen. Okay. Welcome to the Singapore Admin User Group. We normally have this session. Oh shit. How do I share screen? Oh, okay.
Present.
Okay. Please let me know when you see my screen.
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
no.
All right. So you see my screen. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you for your time for everyone. Um. For coming. For this presentation or this user group. Well, my name is Desmond. Okay, and yeah, I'm one of the co-leaders with NG as well. Okay, um, we normally do this. We normally do this once every 2 months, and we get speakers to come to speak for us on certain topics on regarding Salesforce itself. So today we are honored to have Shari with us to speak about his core compliance and implementing data privacy. Okay, so Angie, you want to say something?
No, actually, it's that yeah, we are looking forward to welcome Saurabh to present his to share with us what is data privacy is all about.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Angie. Okay, so quick one. I know that a lot of people have a lot of things. What you can do is that I will say out your names, and then tell me about your name and your company, or whether you're and tell me something that people doesn't know about you. So something that when you don't really tell people about it. I mean, if it's very personal, please keep it to yourself. But then you just share something that's more unique about yourself. Okay, so these three things. Okay, so can we go around? Let me get my list out first. Sorry. Okay, so can we start with you just unmute yourself as I call your name. Can we ask uh Elevu, is it? Sorry.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Alvelu Padati. Yeah,
Hi.
yeah. Hi, hi, all of you. This is Alvelu Padati again, and I'm working as a Salesforce engineer. And I'm very interested to know about this data privacy and the tool, what it does, and everything.
Okay.
So, uh, yeah.
So tell us something about unique about yourself that you don't tell people.
Huh. Yeah. Coming to my hobbies, I'm very good at table tennis.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I can say I'm a champion in that.
Oh,
So I love
okay.
to play with that. I love to play,
All right. Okay.
and yeah,
Cool.
I'll.
Nice.
Yep,
Nice. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Thanks
yep.
for the review. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anna. Next, Anna.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Anna. I think you, Desmond, know everything about me almost.
No, I don't know anything about you. Please.
Okay. I'm based in Singapore. I work for a German manufacturing company. My role is the global Salesforce administrator, together with another colleague. So we take care of around 500 users. I'm interested in this topic because we have also created something in house for the GDPR. So I would like also to check if we are doing correctly or not.
Good.
And something unique about myself. Honestly, there's nothing unique about myself. I'm just looking forward to be able to travel again,
Okay.
and enjoy my scuba diving again. This is
Nice. Yes.
yeah.
All
This
right.
is
Cool.
about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Next, can we have Anna Kate Safe?
Hey everyone, this is Aniket Save. I'm from Cloud Compliance and I'm the
Oh,
product
okay.
manager.
Okay.
So I'm here to see if anyone has, after Saurabh is doing with his presentation, if anyone
All
has any
right.
doubts.
Okay.
And to talk about unique, I love swimming and trekking, basically all the things which COVID is not allowing us to do right now. So just waiting for all this thing to get open.
All right.
That's it for me.
Yes, we go back to our spots. Okay.
Yep.
Next. Thank you, Anna Kate. Can we have
Thank you.
Atif Ali? Sorry, Atif. You can unmute yourself. You need to speak. Okay, never mind. I think he's not there. Okay. Indru Priya.
Hi everyone. Hope everybody is doing great and staying safe. I'm from Tech for Services. It's a Salesforce consulting company in Sydney. And something that nobody knows is mm, any task given to me, I can just try and put my 100% to complete. That's about me.
All right. That's nice. That's
Thank
nice.
you.
No problem. Thank you. Can you Indru Pradi? Can I Manu to speak?
Hello. Yeah, myself Manu. I am a Salesforce developer in Cognizant. So NG, we are Cognizant buddies. I just
Ah.
saw you are also working in Cognizant.
Nice, Manu.
I have been working with financial services clients. So data privacy has always been the key point for the financial services client. So excited to looking forward for this session.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Next, we have Nisa Abbas.
Yeah, hello guys. So you can call me Abbas.
Abbas.
Okay,
Yes.
so basically, yeah. So basically, I work with T-Mobile. I'm based out of Netherlands, and unique about me is like I'm unique myself. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I have nothing to say about that, but
So
that's cool.
apart
You
from
are
that,
who you
like
are.
I love, sorry.
Okay. Can. Thank you. Thank you. Abbas. Thank you. Next we
Yeah,
Yeah,
have.
no problem.
just to add, Bas, I worked in the T-Mobile Netherlands earlier, so
Yeah.
now I'm based in India. So I was in
Okay.
Also,
T-Mobile Netherlands
Please
earlier for
please connect each
one
other
and a half
once
years.
again.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a coincidence.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have Pradhan Achak Chata. Sorry. I'm bad at my names. I'm so sorry.
Hey, Desmond, that's
Hey, I'm
okay.
sorry. I always can't pronounce your name. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, 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 that's absolutely fine. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Myself, Anindra, and I'm a CTO and enterprise technical and solution architect with one of the platinum consulting partner with Salesforce. It's an Epistoki, and I'm just appointed as a marketing cloud champion for 2021, and I'm a B2C solution enterprise architect at PAPAC, and so get experience on all the products inside the CRM. And glad to meet you here, everyone. And interesting about things, I like traveling, and I think again it's the COVID stuff, which is stopping everywhere. And normally I go for cycling all the day, daily at least 1 hour or 2 hours. And I like to play cricket.
All
And
right.
again,
You have your cricket buddy on top as well. Okay. Shut up. Later you will introduce yourself. Don't worry. Later you have your chance. Okay. So I'll just skip you first. Can I have Shavina to speak?
Hi guys, I'm Shibari and I am currently a PhD candidate here at University of Glasgow, Scotland. And yeah, I specialize in data privacy and information security in the healthcare sector. And yes, so today's session is quite intriguing. I just want to get an insight on how data privacy is implemented in Salesforce and things about myself. So I'm a good listener.
That's good.
I've not had junk food, if that counts, in for almost like 7 years straight till now. So I've cut off junk food completely. So yeah, that's a
Oh,
couple
wait.
of things.
I'm
So
curious now. What do you mean junk food? As in chips and.
as in as in all of the junk food. So all of the food chains, say McDonald's, KFC, and
Oh, okay. Fast food restaurants.
yeah,
Okay.
fast food restaurants. Yes,
Okay.
I call it as junk food
Okay.
basically. So
Good.
yeah,
Good. That's cool. That's good. Keep it
yeah,
up. Keep it up. Healthy living. Good.
Okay, lifestyle.
right.
That's very good.
Okay.
What the secret sauce of controlling your
Again, yeah, it's
taste
taken
buds,
years.
Shivani?
It's taken toughness. But yeah, do not like it. Does not serve anything good to me. So yeah,
Okay.
have that off completely.
Okay. I think your fear factor will be burgers then. Okay. Cool.
Point.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Can I have Vijay to speak? Vijay.
Hello everyone. So myself is Vijay Padidar, and I'm working in the Atos as a release consultant, Salesforce release consultant. So I have around 17-year experience. Earlier I worked as a test lead, a Salesforce test lead. Now I move into the Salesforce release management.
Thank
I
you.
have been in even I have been in Singapore for 2.5 years, and I worked in the T-Mobile Netherlands as well,
Okay,
and the
cool.
UK. Yeah, in UK as well.
All
Yeah,
right.
thanks.
So your
I love
technical life.
traveling and farming.
Okay, cool, cool, nice. Okay, next, last, not last but not least, but Vishal Agrawal.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Vishal Agrawal. I'm from India. I have a total 9 years of experience in testing, and I have recently started my journey with Salesforce. So I'm trying to get into admin part, and hopefully I will have something to learn from this session. Talking about my hobbies, I like cricket, listening music, and watching comedy movies. So that's a bit about me.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, did I miss Karan? And
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Karan. I'm working as a Salesforce admin for a market research company based out of New Orleans. I've been into Salesforce for last 5 years, and I'm joining from Delhi. And also, something unique about me would be I'm just clicking birds in my free time.
cool. That's good. That's good. That's good to hear. Okay, Atif Ali, wait, are you there? Atif Ali. Okay, I guess yeah, he's still busy. Okay, cool. I shall not. Yeah, but thank you everyone for your introduction, so that we get a bit of to know each other better. In just this conversation. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. Later on, I think Sharab and his team will be able to answer. But let me continue on my slides first. Okay. So as I said, sorry. Yeah, we are looking for speakers in for our next meetup in August. So you just give me a ping, or you can check my LinkedIn out and then drop me a message, and we can link up from there. So if I can't park you in the August one, I will definitely park you in my next session that I ask you to speak. Okay, so don't worry. If you are interested to speak for us, please just drop me an NG in our LinkedIn. You can say your email as well. Okay, later we have an email that we can show. Okay, next. Okay, I shall hand this time to Sharad. Okay, and Sharad will be he's doing implementation of data privacy and requirements in Salesforce. And we are waiting for him to speak for us. Okay. Okay, to you, Sharad.
All right. Thank you so much,
Can you share your
Desmond.
screen, Sharad, if you can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on just a sec. All right. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yep. Yeah,
All
sure.
right. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Saurabh Gupta. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Sharad. Cool. Nice.
Can you
Yep.
see the slide? Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right. Like I said, my name is Saurabh Gupta. Thank you for having me. Let's very quickly start with a disclaimer. This is not legal advice. We don't represent Salesforce's point of view. We are a Salesforce partner, but this is really our perspective based on a lot of research, talking with a lot of customers, and a lot of reading on data privacy. Um, we are also a partner with Adobe, so if you have Marketo type solutions, we also integrate with them. Uh, a little bit of background on me. My name is Saurabh Gupta. I spent about 7.5 years at Salesforce here in the US. I'm based in Chicago. And then about 2.5 years ago, I founded Cloud Compliance. My background is mostly in enterprise architecture and technology. I do have a business and a design background as well. I like to think of myself as an avid problem solver, and I blog quite frequently on our company blog page and on LinkedIn. I would definitely encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn if you like after this event. Um, so, a little bit about what we're going to talk about. We'll start with a little bit of context on what data privacy laws are about and why we should be concerned about them from our employer, or if you're in consulting, from your client's perspective. We'll dive a little bit into what kind of technology capabilities are required, some Salesforce features and considerations. We also have a free app on App Exchange for data masking that you can take benefit of, and I'll share a link for it, and some of the other resources. And then we type in your questions in the meantime in the chat, and we'll definitely get into them. I also have Aniket here on the call. So if there's anything else, just Aniket, just share the links of things as they come up, if you would, please. So with that in the background, let's dive in. Let's start with why do we really need to bother with data privacy laws? So what's happened around the world is, as technology has given incredible capabilities to us to market and harvest data and track people on the internet, countries around the world and regions have woken up to this, and this is just law catching up with it. And most privacy laws around the world require businesses to now treat personal data fairly, transparently, and lawfully. All those three things have legal implications. And what that means is information about your prospects, customers, consumers, employees, partners, and anybody else, any kind of personal data, you need to have certain processes around it, and you need to have certain controls and governance to ensure that it's treated appropriately. It also means tangibly that as individuals, we all have been given specific rights that businesses that process our information, which means they store and manage it, they're required to address those rights. The things that's very unique about some of these regulations, particularly like GDPR, is that they have a cross-border enforcement. What that means is you may be a company based in Singapore or China or India or anywhere else in the world, United States, but some of these regulations can go after you. In the past, if you were based in the country where a law was, you only had to follow the law of the land. Privacy laws change that, so it's a very important distinction, and they do come with some teeth. So if there is a violation, the appropriate regulatory authorities can fine the organization, and those fines can be quite significant. It's about 4% of annual revenue for GDPR. CCPA here in United States, CCPA is the Californian law, and we have a couple of other state level laws, so CDPA from Virginia and such. Singapore has PDPA that just got revised, I think, in November of 2020. And that also comes with fines. And I'll go a little bit into what this means. But predominantly, more than the fines that come with laws, a very important reason to be on the forefront of data privacy is customer trust, right? We don't trust companies that do not follow good practices, that may breach our information, that send us unsolicited emails or phone calls and things like that. So from a brand perspective, there is an incredible desire for marketers and businesses to make sure that they continue to build trust. Some of you may have seen that Apple has taken a very strong position on privacy, and that's something that they espouse as part of their brand. And that's sort of the mentality that you see with a lot of forward-looking visionary businesses. There are also very strong monetary reasons for doing it. As I was mentioning earlier about fines, an average fine under GDPR can be up to $81,000. A data breach has direct impact on stock prices. So if you work for a for-profit listed company, that is something to be very much aware of. So what's happening worldwide right now is really interesting. There is a ton of regulations all across the world that have been either enforced or are getting enforced, are in the process of. So what you see in red on the right-hand side of this are some of the countries or regions where regulations are in progress. The thing that's interesting is China just released an updated version of their privacy law, and India has one that's sitting in the Indian Parliament. With these two countries enforcing data privacy laws, you would see about 65% of the world population under data privacy laws. So there is a significant push in this direction. And this is specifically important if you are a global company. if you do business in any of these geographies, all of a sudden now there are obligations for your company. And these obligations have a direct impact on Salesforce. Why? Because if there is one system in your enterprise that has personal data, it's probably Salesforce, right? We have contact information, we have leads that have personal data, we have users that have personal data. So a lot of objects in Salesforce can have personal data. And so that's kind of what we will dive into next. I added another slide here for Singapore PDPA. So we actually recently onboarded 2 customers in Singapore, and we are seeing a lot of interest in Asia Pacific in general. So from India, Australia, and a little bit more in the Mediterranean part of the Europe as well. So essentially, when you look at Singapore's PDPA, a lot of requirements here, and in general with most privacy laws, are fairly similar. There is a clear consent that organizations need to have when they're collecting personal data. So if you're filling a form, so for example, the form for this event, or if you're filling a lead gen form, downloading a PDF, getting more information, getting a quote, organizations are required to ask for an explicit consent for marketing and other activities. There is a limitation or purpose limitation of the information you're collecting. If you said you're collecting it for servicing your customers, you can only use it for those purposes. You can't then turn around and use it for marketing or some other purposes. There needs to be a retention policy in place to ensure that, if you collect information, you have a policy which says, okay, X customer data I only keep for 4 years or 6 years or whatever. And there are different laws in different regions around these, but fundamentally, you need to have retention policies. From a access and correction and data portability perspective, what needs to happen is we now have a right to ask any business that has our information to be provided that information, and those businesses are obligated to do that. That's what's referred to as data portability. Another one is right to be forgotten, where someone can make a request and say, hey, remove my data, and those businesses are now required to do that. So doing a number of these things in Salesforce can be somewhat tricky. Let me go a little bit more into what it specifically means for Salesforce. So these are the 6 key requirements that we typically hear from Salesforce customers. One of the first ones that is very commonly needed is data portability and right to be forgotten for Salesforce. And so the idea here is when you request your information, someone can go inside Salesforce and pull all the appropriate data for you. So it may be your contact record, it may be related opportunities, cases, assets, custom objects that you may have, right? A lot of that kind of data you're required to provide. And the term portability in data portability means that it has to be a portable format. So it has to be a PDF or a CSV, format that is commonly accepted. Similarly, for right to be forgotten, you need to either delete that information in Salesforce or anonymize it. A vast majority of customers that we work with, they prefer anonymizing data instead of deleting it. And basically what happens in anonymization is we wipe out all the personal data. So on a contact record for Saurabh Gupta, it doesn't say Saurabh Gupta anymore. It says ABCXYZ, something like that, right? And what that does is it doesn't break your reports. It doesn't break your dashboards. If you're doing, KPIs and metrics on things like campaign effectiveness. So all of those work because you haven't deleted. You can maintain integrity with other systems that you may have and things like that. But that's the first requirement. So a good example of this is actually on our website. If you go down, you will see that you can make a request for any of these things. And that's all running from Salesforce using our product. You need a process for this, which should start from getting an email or a form where someone fills it, and then have it as a case inside Salesforce, a DSAR type case, which is kind of what our product does. And then you can click 2 buttons and essentially pull all the relevant data. The second part of this is very much around data retention and minimization. And the idea is that you have retention policies and you automate this data anonymization or deletion inside Salesforce. So if you have a policy that we keep X customer data in Salesforce for no more than 6 years. I think it's 6 or 7 in Australia. So if you're doing something like that, then what you want to do is you want to set up a system inside Salesforce that's monitoring information and goes, oh, it meets the criteria, and then it anonymizes it. So you may anonymize contact data, and you may have a ton of other data like tasks and other that you just want to delete. So again, that's kind of the space we work in. So we can, automatically do that, and we do that for a lot of our customers. The third part of this, which is really interesting and quite complex, and I know someone mentioned that they come from a marketing cloud background. This is really one of the more difficult things, and we just signed a customer in Singapore that wants to do this. So the idea here is to maintain opt-in and opt-out preferences. When someone fills a form and they checked that, hey, email me or do not email me, or contact me for marketing, but don't send me an SMS, things like that. So those kind of granular preferences you can manage in Salesforce. Salesforce has a couple of objects, notably known as individual, contact point, type, consent, and some of the other ones. It's just not that easy to be able to use them. So what we've done is we have built our product on top of those objects, and we basically help you do the entire consent management lifecycle. We also synchronize these dates with tech tools like Marketing Cloud, Pardot, Marketo, Mailchimp, Eloqua, and such. And the idea of this is, with this MarTech integration, you can do omni-channel marketing. So if you need to reach out to people on WeChat, for example, in China, or on WhatsApp or SMS or other social channels or email, all of those consents then get centralized in Salesforce, and that way you can manage and maintain them there. And we provide a consent management self-service capability as part of our privacy center that runs on Communities. And essentially, you can allow people to automatically manage their consents, to portability, things like that. I've written a lot about these on LinkedIn and on our website, and we'll share the link. Aniket, if you don't mind, just add the links to our website, blog, and to our LinkedIn articles in the chat, please. Sure. Yeah. So the fourth part of this is about data masking. This has become significantly more important in the last 6 months. The recent spate of cyber attacks and cyber intrusions that happened worldwide, with SolarWinds and some US utility companies and food companies. What's happened is that a lot of Salesforce customers do not want real data in sandboxes. So when you create a full or a partial copy sandbox, the information is just copied over from your production into sandboxes. And now these sandboxes typically have lower security controls, and you have a lot of people in there with admin access. So the data that you could never ever see in production is just mostly free for all in sandbox. And that's another area where we do a lot of work. We do data masking. And we have a free product on App Exchange. I would very much encourage you to try. And definitely give us feedback. And Aniket is on this call, who's our product manager and very instrumental in building that product. So definitely give it a shot. One of the other aspects is to generate an inventory of personal data. So the intention here is that if you're a business, you need to have an inventory. Under GDPR, it's known as Record of Processing Activities, or ROPA. So you need to have this inventory of personal data, which means what kind of information do you capture? Where do you keep it? What basis do you capture it for? And for how long do you keep it? This is a very sort of simple, high-level version of it. So what we enable our customers to do is you can literally click a button inside Salesforce with our product, and we would basically scan and inventorize your entire Salesforce org metadata. So we will pull all your objects, all the fields. We will indicate what we think is potential personally identifiable information, or PII. And then you can, add additional attributes to it, like who owns it, how long do you keep it for, why do you keep it, is it encrypted, do you need consent, all of that kind of stuff. This is typically a very common requirement under most privacy laws, along with the others that we've described. So finally, there is a lot of need around transparency in most privacy laws, and what we do is we have policy and notice management. This is again something you can see on our website, or I'll show in a minute. And the idea here is that you have policies which are very clear to your data subjects or people who you do business with, and these policies are in multiple languages, support different text from multiple regions, and if someone accepts a particular policy, you may need to keep a proof of acceptance, and we enable our customers to do all of these things. So before I go any more in presentation, let me quickly jump to our website and just give you a little bit of taste of this. We're not going to do a whole demo here, but hopefully you'd get to see what this looks like, and you can probably look at it. So this is our website. If I go all the way to the bottom of it, these are some of the things that we were talking about here, right? So like if I go to my privacy policy, what you would see is, we navigated to this page. This is a Salesforce communities page, and this is our product running here. And everything that you look at on this page is really just a record in Salesforce. Now we can also have multilingual policies here. So I have in different languages. You can have it for different countries here if that was of interest. So I may have a completely different policy for Spain, for example, versus I have for United States. Very relevant for global organizations. And then you can see how that part works, right? Similarly, I can have a right to be forgotten here. So you click this, you get to a page, you can make a request. So if you enter your email address here, and if you exist in our Salesforce org, we will send you and we will email you a link, and you can click that link and you can come here and make your data subject access request. Similarly, for consent management, you can click a link, come here, manage your consents. So I would encourage you after this call, if you get a chance, to definitely look up any of these features that are of interest. We provide a lot of information on our website, so you can definitely go take a look at what specific things to look at. It's also quite useful because you get a sense of what kind of requirements to think about. So if you have projects going internally, you can ask those questions of, well, what about this? Do we need to have a retention policy? What's the level of accuracy you need on that retention policy? Do you need to do it for specific things? What's literally the where clause in that, right? Things like that. We also cover, certain regulations here. So you can look at, if you're doing like GDPR coverage, for example. Unfortunately, I don't have one for Singapore, but the idea is you can look at this and see what articles apply, what is the reason for doing it. This is like for DPI or ROPA and so on and so forth. So this is relevant, if you have business or legal folks, you can kind of have that conversation with them, maybe point them to this and say, hey, this is what are some of the things from a Salesforce perspective. So switching back here for a minute, another example that is very interesting, and we'll share the link for this as well in a bit, is this compliance matrix that we have created. And this again is basically it's the summary version of what I was just explaining. So for GDPR, CCPA, for India's PDPB, these are some of the capabilities of within Salesforce, and this is specific to Salesforce. These are the related, articles and clauses. Again, we are not a law firm, so this is for informational purpose only, but it's a good, way to look at some of the things. All my background is in implementations. So when I look at things, I want to kind of align them to themes, if you will, and epics, from an agile perspective. So the things on top here is really sort of the epics that I can think of. And I go, okay, we'll create these things as part of data minimization and retention and so on and so forth. So let's go quickly back and see what else is there here. Let me quickly get through the build of this. Take a minute here and drink some water. So we spoke with a ton of customers all over the world. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I didn't get to travel all over the world, but I did Zoom calls in US, Europe, Asia Pacific, a lot of places. What we have heard from customers everywhere boils down to this. Nobody wants to be fined, sued, embarrassed, right? Nobody wants to be in news like these guys were, right? So people want to do the right thing. As companies, as professionals, we all want to do the right things, and we want to do right things from a technology perspective also. We want solutions, that address these privacy concerns and address it in a manner so that you don't have a lot of technical debt. You're doing architecturally a sound solution, and that's where I think a lot of customers are challenged, to find a balance between meeting compliance requirements, doing it in a manner which is not super expensive, and also doing it in a manner which is forward looking, future ready. And that's kind of what has gone into our thinking as we design these products. So one of the questions that we almost always get is, why even do it in Salesforce, right? I have some other technology, right? You may have OneTrust, you may have TrustArc, you may have a ton of other technologies. You may have Segment.io. There's like a ton of technology solutions that allow you to do data privacy. Why should I do this in Salesforce? So the whole point of this is a comparison of what happens when you do it with a standalone app, or if you do it just inside Salesforce with something like cloud compliance. So first and foremost is the idea of adoption and learning curve, right? If you're doing it inside Salesforce, your people know Salesforce, right? It's easier. There's already an investment in it. You don't have to kind of buy something new, buy sandbox licenses, figure out how to use it, build your release around it, do all that. By doing it inside Salesforce, you get the full power of the platform. You can do workflows, process builders, flows, approvals, so on and so forth, right? If you can't figure something out, there's a ton of packages on the App Exchange, including what we provide. You can also write Apex if you need to. The other part is, because you primarily are trying to work with personal data, you have a CRM system that has personal data. If you buy a third-party app, you have to actually push this data over into that app for it to do portability or right to be forgotten, things like that. And finally, over the years, that cost of integration keeps on increasing on the left. Typically, what happens is, if you have Salesforce and if you have a marketing technology or multiple marketing technology, you can almost be certain they're integrated with Salesforce. So your email tools are integrated, your SMS tools are integrated. If you're doing event management tools, they are integrated. And the advantage of that approach is you can now centralize your consents inside Salesforce. And Saurabh opted out. So, hey, Marketing Cloud, don't send an email to Saurabh, and things like that. Here is an example of a customer. This is a nonprofit, Norwegian Refugee Council, great customer. And they utilize our product for managing their consents. They have 500,000 consents. They are obviously in Norway, so there's a lot of GDPR related considerations that they have to look at. So they, automate their portability, and they get their target data privacy very well done with us. They're a pretty old customer of ours, and they're now doing data masking as well. Clear Choice is a healthcare company here in the US, and they wanted to do it for CCPA, which is the Californian Privacy Act. And again, this is predominantly for portability and right to be forgotten. Again, an example of a customer, mid-sized company, very, very easy for them to work with us. And, most of our tools all of our tools actually are declarative. So once, they are set up, then you can just easily use them yourself. You don't need to write code. You don't need us to help you. Essentially, after the initial setup, it's really easy for people to take over and use them. This is another example from education. So EF Education is based in the UK, and they wanted to have a consent management and marketing preference center. And this integrates with Pardot, and we do that for them. And they also have their homegrown app. I think it's a .NET app. And we have APIs for all of our products. So they basically manage consents within Salesforce from their homegrown app. where the students can go in and they can say, send me notifications for class reminder and other things. And all of that is stored. Those preferences are stored inside Salesforce through Cloud Compliance. And so when they have to notify them, whether in app or through SMS, they look at Cloud Compliance, say, okay, what did Saurabh say for this? Oh, Saurabh said that he wants to be notified for classes. So send him an SMS or whatever notification you'd like. So Data Masker is one of the products that we are very excited about, and we have a free version. Makes it super easy to try it. And the idea there is I have information in production. As it goes into sandboxes, it's pretty much copied as is. And what data masking does is it's on platform. So it's right built on top of Salesforce using Salesforce technologies. And we basically, our product just essentially masks all the data that you have configured it. So it's still very realistic data, but it's not real data. You can get this app for free on App Exchange. And Aniket, if you would please share a link for that, or if you guys want to make a note, it's just bit.ly sandbox masker. You can also search for Cloud Compliance or Data Masker on App Exchange, and you'll find it. I wanted to take a note and thank Singapore Institute of Management. They are using our free Data Masker tool. And essentially, this is a recommendation that we got from them. So we appreciate that very much. And I'm a technologist. So my recommendation to everyone is, the proof of any solution in technology is in the pudding, right? You have to try it. And we make that very easy. This is a free product. Go download it, try it out. It'll take you less than 30 minutes to set it up. As soon as you download it, we send you an email with all the instructions. You can just do it yourself. Really good way to understand what you can do for your customers. And if you're in consulting, definitely, help your customers understand this. This is not an easy problem to solve and not a cheap problem to solve. Some of the options to get data masking are quite expensive. So definitely something worth looking at. As I mentioned, we do a lot of other things, and that's our flagship product, Cloud Compliance Privacy Suite. Again, it's on App Exchange. And same thing, you could leverage this for data privacy, consent, and data retention. For this, you would need to have a conversation with us, and we'll need to understand your requirements better. If you reach out to us on our website, there is right up top is a big blue button to set up a time with us. And Aniket, if you don't mind, you could probably share that link too. So really, this is a very quick overview of all things data privacy and how you could do them in Salesforce. There is a lot more to talk about on any of these topics. But what I'd like to do is see if there are specific questions and help answer them, and then kind of get into more details to those specific questions. I'm going to take a look at the chat. All right.
Yeah, we have a question from Fanindra, Saurabh.
Yep.
Unfortunately, he, I think, left. But
wait, what's the question?
So can you mask phone fields, a managed package field if they are having from CTI?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Can we? Help me understand, Desmond. How much time do we have left?
Hi. Let me see. I put my okay. You still have I think 10-15 minutes. Yeah,
All right.
because normally I'll do my sessions by 8:30. I will
Okay.
from our end. Yeah, but you can extend you if you need to. Yeah.
Okay. So
No issues.
let's do a really quick demo then. Is that okay? I can just show it
Go
to
ahead.
answer
I think
this
they'll be
question.
great to see the demo as well.
All right. Let's see data masking. That's kind of the one of the easiest products to see very, very quickly. And I like the fact that it's available for free at App Exchange. So come on, Google. All right. Let me log in here. Okay, give me a sec and we'll load this thing. So what I'm going to show you is data masking. And this is a really quick demo and a very, very easy product to use. And again, available on App Exchange. So definitely get it. All right, let's go to right here on Data Masker. So this is a Salesforce native app, which means your data doesn't go anywhere. We don't send it to Amazon Web Services or something else to, to process it. So the way this works is what data masking does is you can apply masking to any field on any object in your org, whether that object is custom, standard, or managed package, it doesn't matter. So it starts with a rich set of patterns. So we've put some patterns here in this demo environment, and you can create your own custom patterns. So like I have one for Japanese first and last names. You can have for Chinese or whatever other languages you're working with. Great way to have mask your data from a training perspective for different cultures if you're training in different cultures. Right. And so the way this works is, you create what we call a configuration, and think of configuration as the end state of your sandbox. Once you're done with data masking on a sandbox, what do you want it to look like, right? And that's kind of what we do here. When you apply this data masking configuration, so you set this app up in your production, you configure this thing, and then when you create sandboxes or you refresh sandboxes, this app along with this configuration is in your sandbox, and then you can click a button or automate it, and it would automatically mask everything. As part of that masking, you can have org-wide settings. So you can say delete all the files and attachments, delete all chatter, case comments, email, field history, all of that, right? You can also notify users when this masking is done and do a bunch of other things that we'll get into in a minute. But then the interesting thing is at an object level, what can you do, right? So you can say, I'm just going to go to contact here. So you can say for the contact object, I want some of this information to be masked. I want the department value to be erased. So there will be nothing. We'll replace it basically with a null. And I want to change these other things. I want to just generate random email addresses, which we can do. I want to, apply some pattern or a custom list, right? So this is the list that I was referring to earlier. So I want first name to be in Japanese. I want last name to be Japanese names. And you can add other sample things, so Thai or whatever language you're working with, you can do that. I want phone numbers to be in a UK format, US format, Australian format. All of these are very configurable. You can add your new ones if you like, or you can use what we already have. So if I go here and click new, I'm going to quickly try and add a field to this. So my choices are, do I erase or do I replace? I'm just going to say I'll replace. And you can see how easy this is. And I'm just going to say, in this case, I'm just going to say, you know what, I'm going to put a hard-coded value. I could have said apply a custom list or regex. Let's take, I don't know, regex seems more fun. Let's do that. And let's apply it on this field, assistant phone. So basically, we take the phone number and we would, just generate random phone numbers in one of these formats. I'm going to take phone number UK here and hit save. That's really it. That's it. You do this much. And when you run this thing, data masker is going to go to contact fields and it would change this. And we can do this across all kind of objects. So basically, if I go back to my configuration, I can go here, I can click this button here, and I can run this. I can run it for all the objects that I've configured masking. I can run it for just one object at a time, which is great if you're testing stuff and you're like, I don't want this to run and change all my sandbox data. I only want to do, specific. You can also run, if you ran this and it ran into some problems, then you can also run it for error records. So very, very, easy ways to kind of run this thing and make sure that it works for you. Like I mentioned, Singapore Institute of Management they have our free version of this. And the whole intention of that, from what I understand, was just how simple it was to use. We have a customer in Australia that we are working with. They want to do far more complex things, and we support them. You can also run our tool from, CI/CD or DevOps automation. So if you use Copado, Flowsum, Jenkins, GearSet, or AutoRabbit or anything else, those tools can also fire our data masker. So we, without writing any code, we expose this so that you can just call from any scheduler, any external thing, and you can run this if you like. Um, Once it's executed, what happens is you are able to then actually see, all the execution, what it did, how it worked, right? So I can go here and it'll show me that, this is just a demo environment, so it's only 1,000 records. We typically run it for millions. But you can look at this and say, okay, I ran this, I had 1,000 records in, how many were masked, all of that happened, how long did it take, things like that. So that's a really quick 5-minute overview of Data Masker. Uh, we are working on a new version that comes out very shortly, and we are adding an incredible amount of features that will do automated scanning of metadata. So it will pull all, it will scan through all the object, all the fields, looking for PII and identifying it. It'll make recommendations on what fields to mask in what objects. This is really compelling, especially if you are, working in very large, very complex environments. We have customers that we are, that have requirements that they have 2,000 custom objects, like very, very large, very complex environments where it becomes very hard to figure out what to mask. We can do an automated scan and we can come up with recommendations, and then we can basically auto-generate these the configuration I was showing you. So you don't have to manually create it. It'll show you all that. It'll say, hey, these are the fields we think have PII, and you could just say accept, require recommendations, and it'll create that, and you can run this thing. We're also adding a feature for auto coverage, and what that does is it scans your org on every week basis, and if it finds new stuff, it'll notify you. And after 30, 60, 90 days, whatever you configure it, it would automatically update the configuration so that next time when you run masking, those new fields and their values also get masked. So lots of very exciting stuff happening in this space. The other area that is quite interesting for our customers is data retention and minimization. And those two directly appeal to data security. And so that's something that a lot of our customers are interested in. So I'm not going to give you another demo, but I want to show you a little bit of how easy it is for our customers to do these things, and how declaratively we have designed everything here. And hopefully that's just another minute or so. Aniket, are there any other questions? Because I'm not looking at the chat right now.
No, just Manu had a doubt that whether Flosum also does data masking, I guess. So whether the Flosum data masking feature is using our data masker behind the scene.
No. So there's a lot of CI/CD tools that do data masking. The challenge with most of them that I understand is, they do it for a limited number of records because that's not their key use case. We also get into a lot of other areas, like how invocation, automatically doing a coverage of it, a lot of metadata discovery of what to do. Those kind of things are much harder to do with too. So we are a very purpose-built tool. It's the difference between, buying a very surgical instrument versus buying, using a kitchen knife. So I think that's kind of how I would describe us. We are more on the surgical instrument side in terms of our precision and what we do for our customers. So this is like really the sort of a simple view of our product setup. When you look at things like data retention, right to be forgotten, all of that, it's all very declarative in its setup. So, for data retention, we literally do like a 3-step process. You go, okay, what object, we configure mappings for our clients. And then, we just basically apply a mapping, give it a schedule, and data and cloud compliance would automatically run at that time and just basically make sure that your data retention is done. So here's an example, right? We're doing it on this object. We put a where clause to make sure we only do it for specific records. And you can have multiple of these on the same object. So if you have different policies for contacts in Asia Pacific versus Europe versus US, you can do that. And you can basically schedule it. Literally everything that we've done, as you can see in Data Masker and in this product, is all very much designed to be simple to use. None of the features from a data privacy perspective that we have require you to write code or learn a new technology. It's all native Salesforce. And there is a lot of other areas that we get into specific to like data subject access request, a consent audit log, data vault, things like that. Finally, one quick and result of some of these things that I wanted to show you is you're looking here at contact records, and it's the same with leads. For consent management, what we do is you can see, like, I have all my consents here for Saurabh, and you can see that Saurabh opted out in some, he's opted into some, and all of these are actually records in the background. They're records of a thing called contact point type consent. It's a Salesforce provided object. This part is not easy to do, I can tell you. Like, so these objects exist in your Salesforce org today. The individual object, the contact point type and consent. There's like, I forgot, 20 plus objects that Salesforce has provided in the last couple of years. But that's all you have. You have objects. So the whole glue of how to automate, how to move these things around, how to create individuals, that's all the stuff we do. And these consents and their opt-in dates is what we would then synchronize with your marketing technologies. And then that way you can make sure that all your marketing is compliant to your local privacy laws, and you're not sending emails to people who actually opted out. So that is the 50,000 foot view of some of the things that we were talking. I know we are probably almost at time, so I'm going to turn over to all of you if you have questions that we can answer, if there's anything else that Desmond or Angie, if you'd like to add, or Aniket.
I'm good.
Yeah, hi everyone. Do you have any questions to Sharab and Aniket? I see there's some chats that's going on on the other end. But if you all want to ask a question here, you can unmute yourself, and then you can ask it here as well. Is there anyone?
So if no one has a question, then I have a question for people who are attending. Do you see these areas, and what is the biggest challenge you see in these privacy type discussions that happening? Are they happening in your company? One, and if they are, what seems to be the biggest challenge?
Okay. Okay. Food for thought. That was good for that questioning. I guess, yeah, I mean, okay, so for Sharab, one of my leads actually was I'm actually from SIM. So one of my leads was having contact with Sharab, and they were showing us the demo of what cloud compliance can do. Okay, I felt that it was good on the data masking portion. There was quite a lot of things that they could have done it for us. We are still evaluating, so we have not actually customer as a customer say. We are still using the data masking free at the moment right now. Okay, so yes. Okay, so not further ado, I shall go to my quiz time. Okay, now it's
All
late.
right, let's do that.
Okay, so everyone, can let me share my screen. Hold on. Sorry, I lost my screen. Oh shit. I don't like that. Shit. Hi. Sorry. I need some issues. I'm so sorry. I lost my screen. Uh, so sorry. Okay. Yes. Yes. Finally. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we'll do a quiz. End of this quiz, will be prizes giving out. So let me start my thing and continue sharing. Please let me know you all can see my screen so that I can.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
we can.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So please join this quizzer.play on your phone, not on your laptop. So when you join that quizzer.com/play, you can have an access code. I should be seeing you guys coming in. Okay. Okay, Vesha is in. Let's go.
We can't join
Sorry,
from
Desmond.
Yeah.
Desmond, why we shouldn't be joining on the laptop?
You can join from the laptop. I think it's fine, like if you want to join from the laptop, but I thought that it's easier.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, sorry. So
No
give me a
problem, no
while. Case Wizard.
So I have
Play.
Visha, I have Karan, I have Shabina, I have okay.
Can you send? Sorry.
Manu
Access code. What is the access code? Sorry.
96650.
Oh yes, it's quite big. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I say you should do it on the separate screen. What else is Okay, anyone else? Anna is in. Anyone else is coming in? We have 16 people. I have right now. Oh, Anna is in.
7.
7. I have 7. Are the rest having issues to join, or you have issues? Can let me know. Let's see, 9. Okay. Anybody else? Vijay is in.
Could you please share the URL in chat so that
sure,
everyone
no
can,
problem.
yeah.
Let me. I see if I can copy this. Sorry. Okay, so the chat is this is the URL. Give you the access code as well. Okay, sorry. Yeah, this is the access code. Alright, okay. If there's no anybody else, if there's any issue, I'll start the quiz. Okay, it's a free flow quiz, so you do it on your own. The top leaders later will see. Okay, let's start. Wow, that's fast. Anna, you are fast. Okay, I see everybody's expressions. I think that's. Oh, wow, Anna is fast. It's going up really fast. So remember, it's not about. It's not like I think it's outward, but you still need certain. There's some bonus points. So if you get it wrong, I think there's a chance. I'm also first time using this. So. Wow. Okay. I know it's definition fine. Wow, Anna is done. It's completing the thing into the finishing line.
Then what I need to do?
Don't worry.
Desmond.
No worry.
Finish?
I will show the result, the leaderboard.
Okay.
So the top 3, don't worry, you'll see who Arthur, are you there or
Playing or
sorry?
Atif is playing.
Yeah, is Arthur playing? Okay, I see that have a connection line already. Okay. Manu, are you finished? Let me know if you are done. Manu, one is done. Lipu, okay, Akid is done. Okay, we left Lipu. Okay, never mind. It's okay. Lipu, are you done? Can you put maybe you put yourself on the screen? Yes. Okay, done. Okay, let's look at the results. Okay, so Anna, Kara,
Wow.
and
I'm,
Shavini.
the first time I win something.
Okay, so what you have won is basically the Salesforce certification voucher from Salesforce. Okay, so please this three person, Anna, Karan, and Shavini, can you please ping me at my email address? I'll put it in the chat. Okay, ping it to here. Let me.
So I have no choice, Desmond, that to take my certification. I wanted to do it for very long. So now I have no excuse.
I cannot stop you from not taking certification, but yeah, please please do it and don't waste the certification as well. Gerald is laughing because I think he got more certs than all of us here. Okay, so my email is in the chat. Please ping me, Anna, Karan, and Shavini, your email, and let me know the position that you are in. Then I will send you the code and the steps of how to redeem it. Okay, so thank you everybody. Thank you Sharon for sharing this wonderful thing. As I say, data protection is we are in Singapore itself is really important. There's a very high fine that is on this thing as well. And as for SIM side, we have a lot of personal data. I think every company as well, they really have a lot of personal data they need to get, especially in the contact side. So do reach out to him and also use the free app that he has as well. Okay, so thank you everybody. It was a good 1 hour session. I hope you guys have fun and you have learned something as well. We hope to meet up in the next meetup in August. Okay, so I'll see you guys again. Thank you everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Desmond.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
NG. Thank you, Desmond.
Bye.
Bye.
So much.